Alrighty, back at it. Another check-in. Well, we got the motor to run. I'll fire it up here real quick. Kind of quit smoking, that's good. It was really smoky at first, but it looks like it's cleaned itself out. It fires right up. Only thing I really did to it was put that fuel filter on it. That little quadrajet. No problem. No knocks. Doesn't seem to be leaking anything. It needs a new belt, so those belts are toast. That one's about ready to fly off. But now I'm getting ready. Since the motor runs good, I'm pretty satisfied with it. I'm gonna start tearing it apart. We're gonna take the front clip off. Gonna take the back off. Turn this off where it officiates me. See, no smoking. Nice idle. Went into gear, backed up. Even all the gauges work. Good oil pressure. So that's good. We're gonna take the bed off right now. Got my little bed puller. Let's see how that goes. Alrighty. To pull this bed, there are 8 bolts. There's one right there. One right there. There's one right there. Right there. And I think those ones down there are actually rusted out. But if I can't unbolt them from the bottom, I'm gonna have to grind them. So sometimes these come off easy, sometimes they don't. This one looks like I'll probably have to grind it. But that's how it is to take these beds off. There's a few wires right here you have to pull off, but they come out pretty easy. Alrighty. Well, that took a little more time than I thought it would. The bolts were rusted solid on some of these, and some just broke out the bed and spun. So I had to grind them and cut them and wrestle them, but got it off. Bed's over there. So what I'm gonna do is pull this bed all apart, and there you can see there's these bolts right here, right there, those ones on there, and then all underneath it kind of secure the bed sides to the floor. And then I found a new floor for it, so I'm gonna get a new floor. The rest of the bed looks in pretty good shape, actually. It's just this floor. It's totally rusted out. Oh, we got a little, that's rusted out right there too. Yeah, we'll get it all out and clean it off and see what we got. We might have to fix that or get some new ones, I guess. But here's what it looks like. Pretty dang dirty. All this dirt and sand and dead tree stuff. That just makes it rust even faster. But frame looks pretty good. Got all this old undercoating stuck to it. We're probably gonna have to grind that off with the wire reel or something. I don't know if I'm gonna paint the frame or not, but we'll see.
Okay, so here's that 71. Is this 72? 73. Oh, okay. Here's a 73. I cannot keep track. That was videoed while we washed it out now. Sorry, we forgot to take a video of the bed being taken off and cut apart. Here's the aftermath. All the screws got unscrewed, and then all the pieces are here. So we'll just get a new truck bed and nice piece of dangerous looking rusty metal. Got lots of that around here. I'm videoing. This is the aftermath of what you look like after taking it apart. Yeah, you won. You beat it. I don't see it. Oh well. And okay. Nice. Put it on.
What do you think? It's more like a
It's
scarf.
totally
Could
you.
be the new thing. Okay, here we go. Got the parts finally. I've been waiting a couple of days to get some parts for the patching of the cab. We're all patched up on our fenders here. Just got to do the final welds, but I hung them and they all hang just right, perfectly. We're going to get into these rockers right here. So they actually don't make a patch panel for this stuff right here, and it's not rusted through, so I'm going to grind it down and then put some rust preventer and then some Pour 15 on it. I'm going to use their whole system to kind of get that. It looks pretty crinkly right here, but it's still really solid, luckily. So I think that'll take care of that. I think we've been through the inside of this before. It's got a lot of surface rust, but it's pretty solid. I think we'll clean this all up with a wire brush, flap disc it, and then get to it. Right here, you can definitely see that it's, I mean, there's a hole right there. These rockers are way gone. So what I got, and ordered this from LMC, they sell two different types of rocker panels. They sell kind of a smaller one that just kind of takes up the inside of this, and it doesn't really have this other stuff on it. This is a little bigger. And what it does is it allows me to cut this rust out right here. Unfortunately, it steps down right here. So we're gonna have to kind of clean this up the best we can, and if it's really bad, I'll have to make my own patch panel piece for in here. This all looks actually pretty solid, so I think it's gonna work out pretty good. But I've got a new rocker panel. I've set it up there and I've traced my lines. Kind of messed up these couple lines here before I decided exactly where I wanted it. So I'm gonna cut with the angle grinder with the cutoff disc. We'll cut around there, and then right here I'm gonna drill the spot welds out and then pop this piece off, and then if we have to, I'll have to kind of cut this off to get it. But that's the first initial progress of this. So we're replacing the outer and the inner rocker on it, and also we have to replace a cab support right here. The cab support under here is really far gone. Other than that, the rest of it's not too rusty. I've got a little hole right here, but I've got my patch panel right there, and we'll get to it. Are you going? Oh, you're supposed to tell me. Hey, I got working on the bed right now, and if you remember, this bed had a big giant. This was all rusted out. It's only outside. There's two here, two pieces of sheet metal, the inside and outside. This one was only rusted on the outside, so the inside's still good. And then it was rusted out. This whole corner right here is totally rusted out. So what we did was we got some new patches, and what I did is I went ahead and just drilled and screwed them on so I could put them in place. And then I don't need to take this patch all the way up to here. They give you a lot of extra. So I marked a line, and I marked this right here, and I marked this right here. So what I'll do is I'll cut these panels with the angle grinder for the cutoff. And then when I cut it out, these panels will fit perfectly. I'm gonna kind of cut it a little bit wider than this line, because what happens is that angle grinder bit is a little bit wider, and it makes my weld a little bit bigger. So I'm just gonna overcut it just a tiny bit, so I make up that difference on the blade. But we'll get this all cut out, and then weld the new pieces in. Follow me over here, Ryan. That's what we did here. Right now I just have it just barely tacked in. I'll come back later and finish this off, and then I'll flap disc it down and make it nice and smooth. But that's essentially what we're doing. That's kind of the finished product of it. I have to make this patch right here, so I'll cut that out, make that patch, get rid of that one. That one's only rusted through the outside, luckily. Yeah, get this bed going again. Any questions, Ryan? He shakes his head yes. Too many questions. I know Ryan really likes this color a lot. It's his favorite color, especially this is custom right here. This is a custom sneezing orange paint job. Somebody walked by with paint in their nose and sneezed on it. Can't even get you to laugh. All right. Alrighty. Excuse the mess. Getting the rocker panel and the inside rocker panel all fitted on here. Right now I haven't welded anything, so what I did, and this is really hard to get this part off right here. You got to draw all these spot welds out and then pry it off. It's a pain. That takes a little bit of time to get this to fit right. This will fit a little better once I still haven't even cut the final cut on this yet, so once I fit this on better, this is actually going to slide up in there, and the gap's actually not too bad. But I have it close to where I can do my final cut on this. Well, it's kind of dark. There's not very good lighting, but I just have everything kind of mocked up here. There's a screw right here, just kind of screwed in place, so I can, you know, set the door on there and then see if all the lines match up. I'll set the door and the fender on there and just double check everything, make sure it all looks good. One area that I didn't buy a new floor plan for this because this is all pretty solid here. It's a little bit crunchy right here, so I'm just gonna cut a strip right here, cut this out, and I'll just weld all this in, you know, clean up all that stuff that's there. It'll be good. But we had to buy all those new pieces right there. It's all brand new metal and good. So the other side is actually all done. So let's take a gander over there. Better lighting over here. So this side, the door's back on. I've only tacked it in place, so I've got to finish welding. I just wanted to get it all in place and make sure it closed good. You know, that one's all good. Everything fit pretty good. I had a lot of trouble with this guy though. It was the replacement piece I got was not very good. It was a little bit too short. It was smaller than this original one was, so I had to kind of pie cut it here, and you know, right now it's just tacked together. I'll weld that better and grind it better, but it was a lot of fitting on that guy. But there it is. Door closes good. So it's gonna need a little bit of adjustment on the door, but with the weather stripping in there, it's gonna pop it out a little bit too. But that's where we're at now. So nice smooth down there. And again, I have to finish. This is just tacked in there. I haven't even grinded it yet, but we'll use the flap disc to flap disc this smooth, and it just probably won't take too much Bondo actually. But there it is. Alrighty. We have got the Pour 15 coating I'm putting on. I already treated it with the other stuff, the rust inhibitor, whatever, Pour 15 stuff, and then I also degreased it with their stuff, so I used everything from their system that comes to it, and we're just going to go over all this stuff that one stuff kind of turned the rust into this white stuff. It's kind of cool. So I'm just going to go over all that stuff, get that all good. Went ahead and pressure washed and cleaned the back really nice, painted it, so yeah, you can't really see it, it's there. Looks nicer. So I'm gonna get this thing put back together again. Alrighty, here's the update on the old truck. So we got the doors, put a little bit of Bondo on them. We'll get that sanded down today. And then got the tanks put in. Ended up having to replace both tanks. The other ones were rusted. These are used, but they're actually in really good shape. And put new cinders in it, because those are really hard to change after the fact when you put the bed back on. And just kind of touched up the frame here a little bit. Just rattle canned it. Nothing too crazy, but yeah. Pressure washed it all off, cleaned it off real good, degreased it, and then just shot some paint on it. Went ahead and used that Pour 15 system on everything that was not replaced, that wasn't rusted through, but had rust. So this floor pan here, it's kind of dark in the garage, but it was actually still pretty solid, but it had some rust for sure. So we used that Pour 15. Looks like it works really good. Nice and hard. That's going to be no more rust there. And just went ahead and painted anything that had rust on it. This door had some rust on right here where the weather stripping went. It's still really solid, but I just wanted to seal it up and make it good, and that Pour 15 looks like it worked out really well. So it's got the doors. It's gonna have to. I put a little bit of Bondo on it. I ran out, so but now everything's looking real good. We'll get all this sanded down. Core support. I went ahead and painted that up. Just kind of had a little bit of rust through here. A little more than I thought, actually. None of it's rusted through, but it was pitted pretty good. So went ahead and pour 15 that. I think it's going to be just fine now. It was real solid. Just adds to the flavor of the truck. And then over here we had this whole core support was actually not crazy bad. I didn't want to buy a new one because I really liked the original one. Never been crashed, and it just had some rust issues down here that I ended up repairing. So it's all good now, solid. It's all painted in pour 15, so it'll be good. We got all this fixed down here. We're gonna put the front clip back together today and the bed on. I'll take a video of it tomorrow, but bed's easy to put on. It has 8 bolts that just bolt down into it. Really easy to do. Pretty much the next steps on this truck will be to just kind of get the bodywork finished up, put the weather stripping back in. I don't know if I bought a new seat cover, but the rubber mat that was in it wasn't that bad. It had a couple of tears in it, but it wasn't crazy bad, so I'll probably just reuse it. This truck was mostly just to get rid of the rust and, you know, kind of a cheaper restore that'll still be really good, you know. So yeah, there it is. Alrighty, 73. Getting I haven't really started the body work yet. We'll get on that today, but putting back all the insides in the front here. Got the core support back in, putting the grill back together. Got it all painted, everything. This truck has lots of Rust-Oleum and lots of pour 15. Any spot that had surface rust, try to treat it with that. Anything that was rusted through, ground out and welded in. So should be good to go. But next time we see this truck, it's coming together. Got the grill on it. One thing I wanted to do a quick review on is I bought these brackets from LMC, 20 bucks. Supposed to reinforce the hood so it doesn't fold. They do a lousy job. As you can see, it still flexes. And it's still kind of got a little bit of a bow there. I know I saw a couple of good hoods on Craigslist, but the theme of this truck is trying to try to keep it as much original as possible. And this hood has a great patina on it. I haven't decided if I'll keep the patina or paint it. I kind of like it. I don't know. But what I'm gonna do is get some, go to the steel yard and just get some thicker gauge metal, bend this hood back upright, and then weld it in there. And that'll be better than that. I just thought that LMCU fix would be quicker, but it just doesn't work at all. So, got the hood back on. It looks pretty good, actually. It's got a lot of surface rust. It's got a little bit of pitting right here, but nothing too bad. It was painted. We cleaned it and painted it. I think it'll be fine. I really like this core support just because I like these original stickers on it. It's kind of dumb, but it has a little bit of pitting here and there, but nothing rusted through, nothing too crazy. Yeah, it's going back together again. Good old sturdy 350 in there. Get all the wiring and lights hooked back up. Had to redo the battery tray. Got the new battery tray, and I couldn't save the other inner fender well. It was so rusted out down here. I was able to save the core support. You can't see it, it's too dark. But here, some light down there. I was able to save all that. Core support's a little pitted, but not bad. Again, I got pour 15. There was a little spot back there in the cab that wasn't great, but we painted it and got it good. I don't think that'll be an issue. we fixed whatever the problem was and got it good. So when I say we, I mostly mean me. But yeah, it's got a lot of surface rust on the hood, but nothing rusted through. I guess if one didn't like that patina look, you could just shoot some paint on it. But I think it's kind of cool. Not in every truck, but this truck, it just kind of matches it. Anyways, there we go. All right, fixing the hood. Got Craig welding up our little patch there. We had some L&C straps, but they didn't work. So, gonna fix this hood. Straighten it back out. I didn't want to get a new hood because this one matches the patina perfectly. So he's welding in our bracket. I went ahead and got a big piece of angle that we'll weld in there. And that'll flatten that hood back out how it's supposed to be. You can see this side is, we haven't done this side yet, but see the bend in it is pretty bad. It's actually even cracked. You look at it right there, all the way through. So we'll fix it, get it back to going again. Also finishing up the bodywork. Trying to not do too much on it because I want to preserve this patina, but I had to patch all that stuff up. Those are all the rust hole patches, and then I'll color match it best I can so we get this lovely blue back, this aqua. There we are. Here's an update on the old truck. So got pretty much all the body work done. I found a color that was close. It's really hard to find old rusty color. You can kind of see that it's not perfect, but I'm gonna do a little bit of wet sanding, try to blend it in a little better. But that was the fender that was rusted out in the bottom. See, that's all patched up. Like I said, the paint's not great, but a few little spots there I was working on. I'm not spending a crazy amount of time on the body work. Just getting it all straight. You know, wanted to paint it, you probably want to sand this down and primer it. But this was the bed that was, you know, totally full of holes. You can see I just rattle canned it, so there's, you know, the paint's not great. But I was kind of trying to match the rest of the truck because, you know, the rest of the truck's kind of, you know, real similar. There's a little bit of a dent there, last little Bondo on it. Fix that up. Still has a little tiny one right there. There's probably 3 or 4 of those around the truck. But I kind of didn't want to pull every last one out. You know, kind of looks cool in a way. I ended up having to replace the hood. I know I didn't really want to because that other hood was perfect patina, but I found one that was actually brown. And then when I put the little bit of paint on it, it actually kind of looked like rust, which was kind of cool. But this is a way straight hood, no folds in it. It's probably what I should have done in the first place. But I was really trying to save that other one because of the patina. But anyways, it's all put back together again. Got one last little spot right here that I'm still working on a little bit. Get that tuned up a little bit better, but this was the fender that had the giant hole in it. No more hole. That one too. Still got our nice patina there. Bed. Used to have a giant hole right here. And again, I got lucky because the other truck that I pulled this off was brown. And it really actually matches this pretty well. Had to do a new tailgate. There's no way around that. The other one was destroyed. But this bodywork's all, just gonna throw a quick little rattle can primer on it and then throw some rattle can paint. Right now I'm having to fix the parking brake. I'll show you. Parking brake was all messed up, so I'm fixing that, getting that back together again. Got the new seat in. I didn't do weather stripping or anything like that. This looked like it was still in pretty good shape. The carpet was still, or the mat was still, I don't know, I thought it was decent enough. It needs to be cleaned up. I'll clean it up and polish it and, you know, kind of everything. Got the doors to shut real good. Screwed the mirror back on that was messed up. Yeah, there's no more rust holes in this truck. The only rust on is the surface rust, you know. One thing that I'm gonna have to do now is I try to take it for a ride, but it starts up and runs fine, but it does not run under load at all. So the carb is, you know, it's been sitting for 6 years. I was surprised it even started up and idle, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna pull that off and rebuild it. get that in there. Everything else seems to run good. It needs a belt for the power steering pump. That one was all rotted and done. It doesn't. It's done. So gotta do that. And then that's kind of where it's at right now. There we go. So I'm looking to replace these. I actually kind of like the wheels. They kind of fit the truck style pretty well. But they're 16.5, and you can't buy 16.5 tires that I could find. I called a couple different shops, even a used tire shop, and they just said they don't make them anymore. And I've looked on Craigslist, try to come up with something to because these tires are shot. I mean, they're super weather checked. I think I checked the date code on one of them. It was made in 1985, so they're really old, super shot. So anyways, found these on, actually I found them on Facebook. They're okay shape. They got pretty decent tread on them. Came with almost the same style wheel. Someone had painted them black. They were white before, but they still fit the style of the truck pretty well, which I like. And they're mud tires. This is a 4-wheel drive, so it works out pretty well. The front tires are better. These back ones have definitely got some cupping on them. So they've got a lot of tread, but I think they're going to be pretty noisy. Probably going to be noisy anyways, though, because they're mud tires, pretty aggressive tread. So we'll see. Put them on there. Like I said, they're used, but these are 16-inch wheels with 16-inch tires. These are 165 R16s. So those, I think they're going to look pretty good on the truck, actually. Haven't got those on there yet. One issue that I had with this truck, and I kind of wanted to go over this on the video because I think a lot of people that have this, these older 4-wheel drives probably run into this with, especially the 3/4 tons, because they had the hub selector switch, the dial, is made out of plastic, and this thing engages in 4-wheel drive perfectly at the shifter in the cab, but when you go to shift the to lock the hubs up, I found that this, I'll show you right here, this selector right here, this guy right here, and it's a spicer, on the inside was all busted up, and there's a little pin in there. You can see that little pin in there was broke off inside, and so you couldn't even turn it to engage the hub. And so I couldn't find any that were a decent price on the internet. They were like crazy. For like one was like $120 for just one of these plastic pieces, and then I think I found another one on eBay for two. They looked cheaper, but they were $100, and I don't know, what. But so came up with this idea. Just went down to Home Depot and got some pipe, some Schedule 40 fittings, and essentially just put this pin back in here, and you can see where it broke. This piece right here had broken off. I mean, they're just cheap little plastic things, It's not really great. And when that pin breaks off, you can't lock into the 4-wheel drive anymore. So I just used some of this Gorilla Glue right here. It's supposed to be really strong, 3,300 PSI. And I tested it. I tried pulling these out. They've been sitting for a day, and they're never coming out of there. I mean, this to me should work. I don't know if I can recommend this to other people because I don't know the test on it yet, if it's going to work. I think if that Gorilla Glue failed, I think I would have used, this is my other option, with JB Weld it. And they make different types of JB Weld. I think I've never used this Gorilla Glue before, and so the guy at Home Depot said this was the best stuff ever. But I'm a believer in JB Weld, so if they fail because the glue fails, I know that this is a correct method. I just need to probably use a different epoxy. But I mean, it's way stronger than stock was. I mean, this will hold up to lots of turnings, engaging. So what it does is when it turns, it pushes that thing up into the gears and then locks the hub into place. So I think these are really great hubs. I don't know much about the big hub front ends, but I mean, this is all metal. It's got all these big bolts that hold it on. They just made that part out of plastic. So, and these early Chevy 4-wheel drives will all have it. Fords have them too. I'm not sure about Dodges, but I have a 72 right here, which is the other body style truck. This guy right here. And yes, I love old Chevy trucks. I I got a habit. But this has the same kind. It's blue, but it's the same spicer, and it's the same exact hub, same front end, same problem. This one actually works, though. You can hear it clicking in there. At least this. I actually pulled this one off the other day, and it wasn't broken. But that's what they're supposed to do. And this side on this truck, you couldn't even turn it. And then when I pulled it off, it was just broke pieces in there. And this side would turn, but it turned fine, and it felt like it was good. But then when I pulled it out, it was all broken up inside. So that pin had fallen out, who knows when, you know. So that's that. So we're gonna try the fix. You know, like I said, I'm not recommending anybody. You kind of do as you think is best, but I think that's gonna work out good for this. To me, it seems way stronger than what it was. Also got the bodywork finished up. Wasn't really trying to, I mean, this is by no means a show truck, just trying to get the rust and any major dents out of it. You know, if someone wanted to take this to the next level, you know, paint it and get it good, it wouldn't really take that much because it's pretty straight. There's no big dents. There's a few little dings. I call them character dings, kind of goes with it. I ended up having to replace the hood. The one that I tried to save had the best patina on it ever. But, sorry, I got a cold. It was just, I couldn't get the bend out of it. I tried, and every time I closed it, I even changed the springs, and it just kept getting worse and worse. So, found this hood, and then matched it as best I could with the paint. You can kind of see that the paint's not perfect, where you can kind of see there that it's a little bit different color. I wet sanded it yesterday. I haven't quite cleaned it all off, but this kind of truck doesn't really need to. So it's hard. You know, I didn't want to spend a crazy, you can really see the difference there, amount of paint on this truck because, you know, we're just spot painting a few little spots. That side turned out a little better. But with the truck, it kind of matches. You don't really notice it too much unless I point it out. You know, in another 6 months, it'll probably look pretty good. Really want, this has only been painted once, this truck. This is original paint, so I really wanted to keep as much as I could. There was obviously a ton of rust and big giant areas that we had to replace. I had to replace the tailgate because that other one was garbage. It was way more rust than I could save. But we ended up saving the bed, you know, saved the cab, saved all the fenders. Even I got the core support, saved that. That's the original core support, which I wanted to save that because, only because I had the, had these cool original stickers on it. And so today anyways, I'm gonna go get, I had to rebuild the carb. It had a miss at when you stomped on it, it really missed, but it still kind of has it. It idles really good now, but I think the problem now is it needs a tune-up. I was looking at it and I found a wire right, this wire, I think it's this guy right here, yeah. I don't know if you can see that, but totally almost broken. So it's probably running on 6 or 7 cylinders. It's crazy that it runs so good on that. This thing fires right up and just idles, purrs like a kitten. I had to fix the windshield wipers. I don't know what was wrong with them. I took the motor off, and I thought it was a switch, but took it off, cleaned everything out. I got the pump to work, and then the motor started working fine. So I don't know if it was a grounding issue in there or something, or if it was just stuck a little bit. You know, it had been sitting so long. Sorry about the finger. So anyways, got that cleaned up. The brakes all check out good. Got all the lights to work. The heater works good except for the switch went out, so it only lurks on low, so I'm gonna change the switch so I can have full range of the heater. But it blows hot air. The defroster actually works good. The last thing I'm gonna work on is the horn. I can't get the steering wheel, I think is from sitting so long, probably got some rust or something on the little connectors there, so I'm gonna get the steering wheel or the horn to work. I had to fix the temp gauge. When I pulled this guy out here, there was a mouse nest right here. This truck had crazy amount of mouse nests in it. I'm not sure why. They really like this truck. And they had peed down this, like, I don't have it down here, but this is a different plastic piece because it was all white and corroded, and the metal tabs on the temp gauge were all corroded out. And so I pulled this whole thing out and rebuilt those little metal tabs and got them to work good. And so the temp gauge works now. All the gauges work. Got the fuel gauge work. We had to replace the switch, the transfer valve down there. Both sending units have been replaced. But yeah, this is the last. I think that's the last thing. Is it does not.
Alright, there's the school bus. What does Mom think we should talk about? There's 77 Greg.
Driving it down the road, and then been driving it probably. I don't even know. The last time this thing drove down the road. It's a beast. It's loud.
I don't know how to flip your camera. Crappy Google phones.
Are you even videoing?
Yeah, I'm videoing. So loud. Yeah.
That needs to exhaust.
Yes, it does.
Seems like it rides like it should.
Just a slight exhaust, just a little bit. Oh yeah.
It's a little bouncy. Yeah, that lift on it makes it ride really bouncy.
I thought lifting it was supposed to make it right. Oh, that's lowering it.
Lifting it makes it ride worse too.
Lowering it makes it ride better. That's what that was.
A little more of a driving experience, I would say.
Mom said we were going 55.
Really?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That speedometer's off thing, because it's like, say we're going like 45. I think it's about 10 miles off.
That's good.
And it happens when you change the tires. The bigger tires, it always throws the speedometer off. That seems like it runs alright.
Yeah.
Not overheating, oil pressure about 45. That's about all the gauges I got. Amps look like it's going good. It's Mark LT. Slow. Windshield wipers seem like they're working. The defroster works good. Horn doesn't work. Blinkers work. Lights work. Everything's good.
Yeah.
And we've got our Jack Sparrow compass pointing us in the right direction.
That's like the best part of this truck. That's not true. The bumpers are the best part. Bumpers.
The fact that it even runs and drives is the best part.
Whatever.
It hasn't run and drove down the road in, geez, probably 5 or 6 years. Brakes work excellent, but we did redo the front brakes and all the front suspension, and
Wow.
the tie rods need to be adjusted a little bit. But that's good. But anyways, I guess you could probably stop videoing.
Alright.